Good morning, everyone. Let's dive into 2 Samuel chapter 15. I am reading from Scriptures. I love these ribbons. Okay. And it came to be after this that Absalom prepared a chariot and horses for himself and 50 men to run before him. Absalom used to rise early and stand beside the way to the gate. And it came to be whenever anyone who had a complaint came to the king for a right ruling, that Absalom would call to him and say, "What city are you from?" When he said, "Your servant is from such and such a tribe of Yasharel," Absalom would say, "Look, your matters are good and right, but you have nobody from the king to hear you." Absalom would say, "Oh, that I were made judge in the land, and everyone who has any complaint or case would come to me. I shall let right be done to him." And it came to be, whenever anyone came near him to bow down to him, that he would put out his hand and take him and kiss him. Absalom did this to all of Israel who came to the king for right ruling. And Absalom stole the hearts of the men of Yasharel. And it came to be at the end of 4 years that Absalom said to the king, "Please let me go to Hebron and pay the vow which I vowed to the Most High. For your servant vowed a vow while I dwelt at Geshur in Aram, saying, If the Most High indeed brings me back to Jerusalem, then I shall serve the Most High." And the king said to him, "Go in peace." And he rose up and went to Hebron. But Absalom sent spies throughout all of the tribes of Israel, saying, "As soon as you hear the sound of the ram's horn, then you shall say, Absalom is king in Hebron." And with Absalom went 200 men from Jerusalem who were invited. They went along unsuspectingly and did not know the matter at all. Absalom also sent for Ahithophel, the Gilonite, counselor of David, from his city, from Gilo, while he was bringing offerings. And it came to be that the conspiracy became strong, for the people with Absalom kept increasing. Then a messenger came to David, saying, "The hearts of men of Israel are with Absalom." And David said to all his servants who were with him at Jerusalem, "Rise up, let us flee, for none of us shall escape from Absalom. Go in haste, lest he overtake us quickly and bring evil upon us, and smite the city with the edge of the sword." And the king's servant said to the king, "Look, your servants do according to all my master the king chooses." And the sovereign went out, and all of his household at his feet. But the king left 10 women, concubines, to look after the house. So the sovereign went out, and all of the people at his feet, and they stood still at the last house. And all of his servants were passing on at his side, and all of the Kerethites, and all of the Pelethites, and all of the Gittites, 600 men who had followed him from Gath, were passing on before the king. And the king said to Ittai the Gittite, "Why do you go, you also with us? Turn back and remain with the king, for you are a foreigner and also an exile from your own place. You came yesterday, and should I today make you wander up and down with us? When I am going wherever I am going, return, take your brothers back. Kindness and truth be with you." And Ittai answered the king and said, "As the Most High lives, and as my master the king lives, in whatever place my master the king is, whether in death or life, let your servant also be there." Therefore David said to Ittai, "Go and pass over." And Ittai the Gittite and all of his men and all the little ones who were with him passed over. And all the land was weeping with a loud voice. All the people were passing over, and all the king himself was passing over the way to Kidron. And all the people were passing over towards the way of the wilderness. And see, Zadok also and all the Levites with him, bearing the ark of the covenant of Elohim. They put down the ark of Elohim, and Abiathar went up until all the people completed passing over the city. And the king said to Zadok, "Take the ark of Elohim back to the city. If I find favor in the eyes of the Most High, then he shall bring me back and show me both it and his dwelling. But if he says thus, I have not delighted in you, here I am, let him do to me as is good in his eyes." And the sovereign said to Zadok the Kohen, the priest, "Are you not a seer? Return to the city in peace, and your 2 sons with you, Ahimaaz your son, and Jehonathan son of Abiathar. See, I am waiting in the desert plains of the wilderness until word comes from you to inform me." And Zadok and Abiathar took the ark of Elohim back to Jerusalem, and they remained there. David went up by the ascent of the olives, and went and wept as he went up. He had his head covered and went barefoot, and all the people who were with him covered their heads and went up weeping as they went up. David was informed, and saying, "Ahithophel is among the conspirators with Absalom." And David said, "O Most High, I pray you make the counsel of Ahithophel foolish." And it came to be that David came to the summit where he bowed himself before Elohim, and Saul Hushai, the Archite, came to meet with him with his robe torn and dust on his head. David said to him, "If you pass on with me, then you shall become a burden to me. But if you return to the city and say to Absalom, I am your servant, O king, once servant of your father, but now I am your servant, then you shall nullify the counsel of Ahithophel for me, and are not Zadok and Abiathar the Kohanim with you there? And it shall be that every matter you hear from the king's house you should report. See, there with him are their 2 sons, and by them you shall send me every matter you hear." And Hushai, David's friend, went into the city, and Absalom came in